Okay, let's dive in. Everyone wants that business edge, that understanding of how things really work.
Right. But finding time for, say, a full MBA or the cost, that's a huge barrier for most people.
Exactly. Which is why we're tackling the 10-Day MBA by Steven Silbiger today. It's like getting the highlight reel from top business schools.
Uh-huh. The essential playbook, but, without the ivy-covered walls and the massive tuition fees.
Precisely. He promises efficiency, getting those core principles across quickly.
Yeah, the stuff you need to actually start thinking like a business strategist.
So our mission here is simple. Pull out the actionable stuff from Silbiger's framework, insights that can genuinely change how you look at business, like starting now.
Sounds good. So where does he kick things off?
He starts with marketing. And straight away, it's clear he means more than just, flashy commercials or spam emails.
Definitely. For Silbiger, marketing is fundamentally about understanding people.
Mm.
What do they actually need? What are their desires? What keeps them up at night?
It's about connection, right?
Yeah.
Speaking their language,
Right.
offering something that genuinely helps.
Exactly. Less shouting, more
Mm.
resonating, offering a solution that clicks with them personally.
We've all heard the classic 4PS, product, price, place, promotion. But Silbiger goes deeper.
He really does. He emphasizes needing crystal clarity on, well, three key things.
Okay, what are they?
First, who exactly are you trying to serve? Second, what specific problem, what headache are you solving for them?
And third,
And third, how do you position your offering so clearly that your ideal customer just sees it and thinks, yes, that's for me.
that clarity sounds crucial. Serving, solving, positioning.
It's the bedrock. It moves you from just having a product to understanding its real role in someone's life.
And that means you can't treat everyone the same.
Right, which brings in segmentation,
Yeah.
identifying different groups, then picking the group that best fits what you offer.
And positioning is tailoring the message.
Tailoring it perfectly for that group. Think cars. Some want fuel efficiency, others luxury, others safety. You talk to each group differently.
Which must mean research is key, not just a formality.
Oh, absolutely not. It's your compass, your intelligence gathering. It tells you if your assumptions are right, how to tweak things.
So you're constantly learning, testing, refining.
Exactly. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
Listen, adapt, and the payoff. Silbiger says it's huge.
More than just sales.
Way more. You don't just get customers, you build fans. A tribe. People who believe in what you're doing because you truly get them.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's shift now. How about ethics? Sometimes feels a bit, abstract.
It can, yeah. But Silbiger argues it's actually a massive force in business.
How so?
He frames it not just as rules, but as being built on something incredibly valuable, trust.
Trust? Okay.
And he uses principles like utilitarianism, the greatest good for the greatest number, or justice, fairness, individual rights.
Right, philosophical ideas.
But he shows how they become practical guides when you face tough choices, like which lens helps you decide this particular dilemma.
And he really pushes back against taking easy, maybe unethical shortcuts.
Absolutely. Your reputation isn't your slogan, it's your actions, especially the ones nobody sees.
That's powerful. Those behind-the-scenes choices really count.
They define you. He uses this image reputation as like glass. Shatter it, and it's almost impossible to fix perfectly.
Wow, that fragility really hits home.
It underscores why consistency matters so much.
And this leads back to leadership, doesn't it?
Totally. Ethical leadership isn't just about avoiding scandals. It's about building a culture of integrity, trust as the foundation.
So, in a world chasing quick wins, ethics is actually a long-term strength.
A huge one. Silbiger positions it as a powerful, lasting advantage. It attracts loyal customers, dedicated employees. It builds something solid.
Okay, let's tackle another area that can seem intimidating.
Yeah.
Accounting.
Ah, yes. The language of business can sound complex.
Like a whole different dialect, yeah? But Silbiger wants to demystify it. Show it's about understanding a company's health, its story.
Right. Not just drowning in numbers. He focuses on the big three statements.
Balance sheet, income statement.
And a cash flow statement.
Yeah.
And looking at them together is key.
So the balance sheet is like a snapshot.
Exactly. What you own assets.
Yeah.
What you owe liabilities. And the difference, your equity, what you've built up.
And the income statement tells the story over time. Performance.
Yep. Revenue, expenses, and the bottom line.
Yeah.
Profit or loss. Is it growing, shrinking, thriving?
But then there's cash flow. Silbiger really emphasizes this one, right? Says it might be the most important.
He makes a strong case. You can look profitable on the income statement, but if cash isn't actually coming in, well, you're in trouble.
You can't pay bills with paper profits.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The cash flow statement tracks the real money movement. In and out. It shows your ability to meet obligations, fund things.
So understanding these lets you see the reality, spot trends, red flags.
That's the idea. And he even tries to humanize concepts like depreciation or accrual accounting. They're not just rules, they're signals.
Signals about how the business is truly operating.
Understanding them gives you control. It turns accounting from scary rules into a practical toolkit.
Okay, toolkit acquired. What about the people side? Organizational behavior.
Right. This is where logic meets emotion, how people actually act inside companies. It's messy sometimes.
Silbiger talks leadership styles here too, control versus delegation.
Yeah, but the core theme is understanding people. What makes them tick?
He brings in motivation theories, like Maslow's hierarchy.
Reminds us people need more than pay. Safety, belonging, purpose. When those needs are met, people engage. They give their best.
It makes you think about your own workplace, doesn't it?
Definitely. He also covers company culture, the unwritten rules, team dynamics, conflict resolution.
The whole human side of business, as he calls it.
Yeah. And getting that right makes everything else run smoother. Leading people well is key.
Okay, leading people. What about making decisions? Analysis. Moving beyond just gut feelings.
Yes, he really champions thinking like a scientist. Test things. Analyze data. Don't just assume or guess.
He mentions tools like forecasting, regression, decision trees. Sounds technical.
They can be, but he presents them as practical ways to make better choices. Assess risk. Focus your efforts.
So analysis helps remove blind spots, makes the business smarter.
Smarter, faster, leaner. It helps you see patterns, predict outcomes, put resources where they matter most.
And you don't need a PhD in stats to use this thinking.
Not at all. It's more about cultivating curiosity, being willing to follow the data, even if it surprises you.
That curiosity keeps you one step ahead.
That's the goal. Okay, so analysis sharpens decisions. Let's talk finance. Different from accounting.
Related, but distinct. Silbiger says finance is less about tracking money already spent and more about understanding value.
Value creation.
Right. Thinking like an investor. What's the cost? What's the potential return for every dollar, every investment?
And the time value of money comes in here, right? Money today is worth more than money tomorrow.
Exactly, because you could invest it. He introduces ways to measure returns, too, like NPV, net present value.
And IRR, internal rate of return.
Yeah.
Tools to gauge if an investment makes sense.
He also clarifies debt versus equity financing, borrowing money versus selling ownership. Big implications there.
Huge. It shapes your future options, your risk profile.
So the shift is seeing money not just to spend, but as a strategic tool.
Yes. Something to manage, grow, and use strategically.
Yeah.
For leverage, options, freedom.
Okay, strategic finance. What about the engine room? Operations.
The unsung hero, Silbiger calls it. This is about the systems that make everything work efficiently.
Reducing waste, improving quality, running like clockwork.
Exactly. He mentions things like just-in-time production, Six Sigma quality drives, total quality management.
Buzzwords or practical approaches.
Practical approaches built on a mindset. Continuous improvement. Yeah. Intentional small tweaks adding up to massive improvements over time.
It's about obsessing over the internal customer experience, too, making things smooth.
Absolutely. Because tight operations make everything else easier. Sales, service, you name it.
So strong operations are the foundation.
A very strong foundation. Okay, let's zoom out now. Economics, seeing the bigger picture.
Right. Your business isn't an island. Silbiger stresses understanding the wider economic world.
Market dynamics, pricing pressures, inflation, recessions, micro and macro factors.
Supply and demand isn't just theory. It affects your pricing power right now.
Totally. And things like interest rate changes, government policies, global events, they all ripple through.
So economics helps you anticipate, see the forces at play.
Anticipate change, adapt, maybe even leverage those forces instead of just being hit by them.
Become more proactive, less reactive to the environment.
Precisely. Which leads perfectly into strategy.
Strategy. Moving from reacting to actually designing the future. The art of war in business, kind of.
You could say that. He talks about classic frameworks, SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
Porter's 5 forces, too. Analyzing the competition.
Yep. And the BCG matrix for looking at your product or business portfolio, these aren't just academic exercises.
They help you see where you stand, make intentional moves.
Exactly. Strategy, at its core, is about choice. What will you do? Crucially, what will you not do? How do you compete effectively, sustainably?
Saying no is as important as saying yes. Focus over frenzy.
That's a great way to put it. Focus over frenzy. Having a clear direction.
A roadmap to where you want to go, making sure everything aligns.
That's what good strategy provides. Okay, one final piece brings it all together. Leadership.
The glue and soul, Silbiger calls it. It's about influence, clarity.
Humility and strength, too. Inspiring people.
He emphasizes emotional intelligence, understanding yourself and others.
Hugely important. And communication. Building trust, especially when things are uncertain.
And in today's world, understanding the basics of business law, international stuff.
Increasingly vital. Contracts, cultures, currencies, the world is interconnected. Good leaders get that.
So leadership ties everything else together. It's the human element making the systems work.
It's the catalyst. It fosters purpose, empowers people. Strong leadership creates thriving organizations.
Okay, so we've covered these 10 big areas from Silbiger: marketing, ethics, accounting.
Or behavior, analysis, finance, operations, economics, strategy, and leadership. It's quite a list.
What's the real impact, then, of getting a handle on these?
Well, Silbiger argues it's genuinely transformative. You shift from being a spectator
To being a player, understanding the game.
Exactly. You start seeing the patterns. You read an annual report or sit in a meeting, and things make more sense.
You ask better questions, speak with more clarity.
Definitely. You think further ahead, weigh risk and reward more effectively. People notice that informed thinking.
So it builds confidence, a sense of belonging in the business world even without the formal MBA.
That's the idea. This 10-day MBA framework acts like a map. It doesn't give you every single answer, but it empowers you to navigate.
A map to navigate the complexities with more understanding.
Absolutely. Grasping these core ideas gives you a powerful lens to analyze situations, make better judgments.
So we've journeyed through Silbiger's 10 core business areas, a real whirlwind tour.
It provides that foundational map, just as he intended, a framework for making sense of the business world.
Now, for everyone listening, maybe take a second. Which of these 10 areas really jumped out at you?
Yeah. Which ones sparked your curiosity or felt most relevant to what you're doing right now?
Is it the customer focus of marketing, the foundational trust and ethics, the numbers in accounting or finance?
Or maybe the people dynamics in OB, the problem solving in analysis or operations, the big picture of economics or strategy, or the unifying force of leadership?
Reflect on that. And here's a final thought to chew on.
How might even this foundational grasp of these pillars change how you approach things from tomorrow?
Your job, your side hustle, maybe just how you understand the news.
What new questions will you start asking now, armed with this broader perspective?